Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. We'll be starting up in a bit, but again, let me know in the chat if everything's all good on the audio end. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just making the social post, and I promise I'll be on in a second. I like on God. But let me know how you guys are doing. By the way, are you guys done with school? All that stuff. Let me know in the chat how y'all are doing. All right, all right. Let's get this show on the road. Okay. Let's see. How do I get on? Okay. Y'all, I haven't done this in a while. Give me a second. Damn, look at that. Hold up. Oh no, the screen's not working. Is it moving for you guys? Is the screen? Let me check. That's the thing with these gaming streams. They take a second to set up. Hmm. Hold up 1 second. It's getting kind of weird here. But anyways, how are you guys doing? Sorry, let me talk to you guys for a second while I handle this. Got a lot to talk about. A good amount to talk about. In case you guys are wondering, Matt is a little. He's busy right now with some work stuff, some holiday party stuff. So just me today, unfortunately. And we're just gonna get the show on the road in a second here. Locks, hey, yo, man. Let's go ahead and do one of your segments real quick, or the segment that you wanted to. You know what? Let's do a little face cam thingy right real quick. So hey guys, how's it going? Going well, I hope. First of all, we got a lot to talk about. Do we even want to do a gaming stream? Let's just talk. Let's just talk. All right, how are you guys doing? Sorry, this is very chaotic stream so far, huh? But yeah, just finishing up finals, finishing up projects, stuff like that on my end. But regardless, we're gonna talk about some new music that came out recently in a bit. But let's get this segment or the stream started off just like with a fun little segment that my boy Laksh, who I met at the Dawn till the After Hours Till Dawn tour, which is going global, and we're gonna go ahead and just go through all of the Weeknd albums and kind of like assign them, categorize them by holidays, or no, by seasons, I think is what you wanted to do. So let's get into that. So for example, let's see, let's go through the Weeknd's discography. Where do you guys want to start? What's the first album that we should get into here? Let's get into what would be the easiest one? Let's start off with Beauty Behind the Madness. Beauty Behind the Madness is an underrated classic. I feel like the Weeknd's kind of the underrated classic from him. So what do you guys think? Beauty Behind the Madness. I think it gives off, for me, it gives off autumn vibes. I think of like I think of you know what, you're right. Let's go chronologically. So we're gonna do it by the projects. So, sorry guys, this is total last minute change up, so bear with me here. House of Balloons. Where do we even start with this album? Winter? Are we thinking winter for House of Balloons? Hold on, let me get the chat right real quick. Thank y'all again for bearing with me here as I get all set up. Where's the chat? Let me know in the chat what you guys got for all that. Chat box. Yeah, let's do that. There it is. Okay. Y'all are getting the behind the scenes right now. Anyways, chat seems to be working well, it just disappears after a while. But anyways, hello, hello, everyone here. I'm just getting settled, and I promise we'll get a decent show up for you. But yeah, so in case you guys just tuned in, we're going to go through all the albums. We're gonna go through a bunch of all of these Weeknd albums and discuss what seasons they belong in. Let's go. Let's go like this. Starting off, House of Balloons. Is that how we want to do it? That's how we're doing it. House of Balloons. What are we thinking? I'm thinking winner. For me personally, I don't know if I'm just like a little biased, but I feel like a lot of Weeknd albums give off a winter vibe. But this one specifically, let me know. Let's see in the chat. Yeah, winner for sure. Okay. I'm riding with that. Thursday. Thursday. Damn, man. That album cover is, to me, is just like the best album cover in the world. It's like literally like me on a random weekend just chilling. So Birds Part 1, Birds Part 2, Rolling Stone, Heaven or Las Vegas. Honestly, I feel like a lot of Trilogy is giving me winter vibes. It's giving winter for me. But that's just me. I think I'm going to go winner on that one. Echoes of Silence. You know what? I'm just call it. I think all Trilogy is winter vibes. But you know that makes sense. You know, at that time he was kind of trapped in Toronto. You know, or trapped. You know, like he mentions in a couple of lyrics. So you know that kind of makes sense. You know, but I think as we go on to Kissland is interesting. You could say fall. You could say fall for that one. But in my opinion, I think Kissland is like rainy weather music. Like just recently, my family and I we went to celebrate my birthday. It's not my birthday yet. It's on the 23rd, but we kind of wanted to get out the way, so we celebrated a couple of days ago, and we were walking through this neighborhood. Every year, they set up a bunch of lights throughout the neighborhood, like every single house. It's almost like they're competing against each other, like who's gonna kind of deck out their house in the most holiday fashion. And I was walking through listening to Kissland just because that's just been the mood I'm in lately. And we can get into that in a little bit, but Kissland to me is just fits so perfectly, you know, like how cinematic it is, and you're seeing all these pretty lights and just like everyone happy, and that kind of that compare, contrast, juxtaposition, whatever fun words you want to say. But Kitchen Boy, my boy, Kitchen Boy, how are you doing, man? I'm looking into the wrong camera, my bad, but hope you're doing well. Kay mentions dreary fall day. I can see that too, you know, like when you're going around, you see the trees starting to get a little empty, a little. What's that line from that Jay Electronica song? I wonder if the trees get sad when they see the leaves fall. You know, that kind of perfectly describes also kind of the vibe Kissland is: melancholic, insecure. You know, all that stuff, man. Such an amazing record. Sorry, I just love Kiss. I'm just on a Kissland high right now. But yeah, Kissland, fall or winter, either one. Yeah, I think me personally, I'm gonna go winter just because of that experience that I had recently with that album. But anyways, let's go on to what else we got. We got Beauty. Ooh, Beauty Behind the Madness. We were just talking about, me and Matt were just talking about this, which, by the way, if you just hear, Matt was just busy with some stuff, so here I am. And Beauty Behind the Madness, man, is one of those albums that is just such a momentous moment for me. You know, it's the first time that Matt and I really like hung out was going to the Weeknd concert for the King of the Fall tour, I think, for Beauty Behind the Madness. So that holds a very special place in my heart. And because of that, for me personally, I give Beauty Behind the Madness like autumn vibes. I think that was around when the album dropped, maybe, but definitely around the time that the tour was happening, and I really really enjoyed it. I remember because it was me, Matt, and then we had Maya and a couple other people in our party, and we got kind of separated because the things just weren't the ticket situation wasn't lining up, so we had to sit separately. But we were like, nah, man, like we really gotta, like Matt wants to sit with his girlfriend as say like, you know, As You Are is playing it. Man, that song is amazing. I don't know if this is a hot take, but As You Are, I just realized I can look at the track list here. As You Are, man, that record to me is like a top tier Weeknd record. And maybe one of these solo streams. I remember someone mentioned like, oh, I want to see you guys stream or like tier rank every single Weeknd song and every single album. And damn, that's a lot of work, but maybe we'll get around to that sometime. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so we were and we literally had to we talked to the security guard, and we were like, man, like those are our people, can we sit with them? The seats are empty. Can we please sit with them? And he's like, no. But then as like the concert goes on, I guess he kind of got a little bit, it was the magic of the Weeknd, man. It's the magic of the Weeknd that he was just like, you know what, go ahead. And sure enough, we like climbed over the seats to like through the balcony and sat over with our friends, and it was just a great night. So no, we were just texting about that recently, and just a quick little story about Beauty Behind the Madness and how amazing of an album that is. And yeah, I'll say I'd say summer. Okay, summer's cool, I like that. Okay, so we're going summer for Beauty Behind the Madness. I like that. Starboy. Starboy is interesting. That This album came out on Thanksgiving, or no, on Black Friday, and I remember when this album dropped. It was kind of like a surprise album, a little bit in terms of like the Weeknd had just dropped Beauty Behind the Madness earlier that year or last year, and then he was touring, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Yo, here's Starboy, here's a music video, and then here's the rest of the album." And then obviously he dropped like between that he dropped I think like Party Monster, False Alarm. I remember False Alarm being like a very interesting moment. Like, this is a weird album, or a weird song. I mean, but sure enough, it's kind of like it comes up, and as time goes on, I don't know. You grow to appreciate it, especially as the Weeknd goes on to kind of develop that sound, that French synthwave nightclub vibe, and makes maybe my favorite album ever, in Dawn FM. So, yeah, I think Starboy, even though it dropped in the weekend or on the winter, I think I'm gonna give it a summer vibe. Like it just, the upbeat records, the rap records, you get Trap Weekend, which is just never misses, as you can see from Creepin'. So that's what I'm thinking. Secrets, yeah, thank you, Crystal. Starboy, all that stuff. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Okay, so Starboy, we're going summer. Here's the next one that's interesting. My Dear Melancholy, just like the saddest. I remember that album, man. Like it came out at such a perfect time for me, because I was just getting out of a relationship or whatever, and it was just a very therapeutic experience. Like, damn, like this is like kind of perfectly timed. And I remember, this a lot of this album was spurred by I think the Weeknd's relationship with Selena Gomez, and yeah, this album is very interesting. Honestly, I would really love to do a deep dive on this album, or EP, LP, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Locks. Hey, if it ain't XO, then it's gotta go. So many memorable lines, man. Oh my god. But yeah, My Dear Melancholy. That might be an autumn album. What do you guys think about that? An autumn album, My Dear Melancholy. Because it's just, I can just imagine like watching the trees die to this album. But yeah, probably between fall and winter. Okay, okay. Also, my bad. Let me look at some of these chat messages before we move on, because I think after My Dear Melancholy, um, we kind of enter like a new mode of the weekend. So let me first get the chat right. Okay. Thank you guys for bearing with the new little different look for today again. But yeah, probably right between fall and winter. Yeah. Also, yeah, Kitchen Boy. I'm doing great, man. I'm just finishing up finals stuff. It's been a weird week. Um, yeah, no. But NXO has got to go. At the end of As You Are, Abel starts humming a tune that's the same as Hurt You. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, another thing about Beauty Behind the Madness is I just recently was listening to it on vinyl, and acquainted into that what do you call it? What is that called? Also my bad. I just realized this is not what you guys want to be looking at. Acquainted with the Girls Are Born in the 90s kind of beat switch in there. That to me is like incredible. I think a lot of the trend is like, oh, what like how can we do the beat switches? Like I think of Her Loss, that's an album. Ooh, I was getting cooked in the comments of one of the YouTube shorts we posted. So y'all gotta hold me down. But yeah, and a lot of that album, a lot of my problems with the beat switches on that album is like I feel like they're just doing beat switches just to do a beat switch, and I think, that album or that record right there was like how you do a beat switch is like two pretty good ideas for records, and then you just kind of meld them together as opposed to just beat switch after beat switch after beat switch. So yeah. Anyways, Jasmine, what's up? What's up? Yep, just me today. Unfortunately, we're just walking through every single Weeknd album and kind of assigning a different season to them before we just to ease in the chat before we get to the SZA album, the Weeknd album, all that stuff. But yeah, let's get into After Hours, man. Last couple albums here to do it. After Hours. Someone in the chat, who was that? Someone in the chat mentioned that After Hours is a year-round album, and I agree. I agree with that. For me personally, just because it's I don't know. I think this kind of the sadness he captures with this one is just it doesn't matter the season, it's gonna hit you different, and I think different records hit during the different seasons. But no, let's actually try to do the prompt here. I'm trying to think. Yeah, favorite album of all time, all year round. I mean, you can't go wrong. I think, you know what? I might give it maybe fall, just cause I, you know what, this is just me. I don't know how you guys think about it. How I personally think about fall is like, it's like for me, it's like it the definitive month to me, just because I know it's when it's fall, that means it's close to Halloween, which means it's close to Thanksgiving, which means it's close to my birthday, which means it's close to Christmas. So like a fall to me is like a very big kind of season, and I would maybe put After Hours in there because you know, it kind of kickstarts that I don't know. It just has that vibe, and I feel like it kickstarts me into the fall season. Yeah, and that the songs are different seasons. It's tough, man. That's tough. I don't know. I'm giving it maybe fall. Maybe fall. What's interesting is we haven't had a spring album, but that might change with this next album that's coming up. Why am I hyping it up? You guys know what album it is. Hmm. I'm a I'm gonna give it fall. Yeah. Let's give After Hours fall. I feel like that feels right. But last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into Dawn FM. As I mentioned before, my favorite album of all time, maybe potentially. I don't know. Dawn FM. Could this be the spring album? Is this the spring album that I was talking about? Or is it a summer album? What do you guys think? That to me is what that vibe is. Because I feel like a big part of the sound of this year was like people wanting to make music for people to go out and dance to, especially as we're coming out of the pandemic a little bit, or I should be more accurate. We're coming out of lockdown, and we're coming out of winter. Right, this album dropped in January 7th, not the 6th, and man, this album kind of it showed me a lot of new stuff about The Weeknd. Like, How Do I Make You Love Me was almost like a I don't even know what you call it, like dance house album. I don't know. It's very genreless, but it all is with like the intention of making you dance, making you sing, having you scream at the top of your lungs. I think like our boy Pearl Fountain, Omar from Thought, mentioned like the beauty of this album is that it's an album made to be listened to, and it plays like a radio station, but the edge is that it's what the audience is specifically playing for is like sinners, right? And that goes into like the Phantom Regret, how this album it hints that this album is like a cycle that you listen to until you're ready to ascend to whatever is the good place, if you will. So yeah, no, I might give this the spring album. Wow, yeah, and it's cool. Honestly, that kind of makes sense. It takes this long for The Weeknd to finally come out with whatever you'd call a spring album. When I think of spring, it's like everything's blossoming, everything's new. That kind of goes in line with the music videos we've gotten. Yeah, okay. So there you go. Just to run it back one time, we got Dawn FM. We're going spring. Yeah, Laksh. The opening seems like a flower starting to sprout. Yeah, and that's another thing is a theory that we've kind of mentioned a couple times, and stop me if you've already heard of this, but I feel like a big part of The Weeknd's After Hours trilogy is like this idea of him, of the natural world, and if you look through all the music videos for After Hours, it's all glitz and glam, all manufactured, no plant life at all. But then as you get into the Dawn FM stuff, you're starting to see little like bits of like in the Gasoline music video, like flowers starting to go through the cracks of the walls. And I remember when Dawn FM was coming out, he did like a photo shoot of him in a suit and tie, and like him dressed up with flowers all around it. And I'm like, I just remember thinking like, damn, I've never seen him in that light. So I wonder if the next album is gonna have a little bit of a emphasis on like natural life, on plant life, and if you remember on the How Do I Make You Love Me music, we went over this in the How Do I Make You Love Me video breakdown, but sure enough, Hoyun is tending to plants. So I don't know, it could be just like cool imagery, all that stuff. Oh, even in Heartless, yeah, as Laksh mentions, even in Heartless, there was a flower that froze up. Yeah, yeah, and that could be that flower. It was like decaying, right? So yeah, no, I think Dawn FM being a spring album, as we mentioned before, really great. After Hours, as we said, fall. My Dear Melancholy, I think we said also fall. Starboy, we said is a summer album, just because of how many beautiful like up-tempo records are on here. Like I think of, like as I'm kind of going through Michael Jackson's discography little by little, and one thing I like to think about is like how many of the MJ stans were listening to these records and are acting like Weeknd, or not acting like Weeknd fans, but have like the parallel of it of like, now you hear every Weeknd fan going like, oh, Rockin' is such an underrated record, y'all hated on it, da 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 da. Secrets, slept on. True Colors, which is, a really cool ballad and very heartfelt, very underrated in my opinion. So I don't know, it's just interesting to me that, in a couple of years I'm curious to see what other songs kind of gets big. I think of Die For You, all that stuff. So Beauty Behind the Madness. What did we say for Beauty Behind the Madness? I think we said winter or fall. Yeah, around there. Winter or fall, I don't know. But Kissland for me is a winter album. It's just a winter album to me, just because of how rainy everything is. Not that you can't listen to it whenever, but the game's a game. And then I for me personally, all of Trilogy, whether it be House of Balloons, Thursday, or Echoes of Silence, I think it's all in that winter realm. Like I mentioned before, like I think it just makes sense because he's feeling trapped in Toronto, the snow child. So yeah, I think that's a fitting vibe for those Trilogy. So for Trilogy, so yeah, no, Lox, man, thank you for sending us some an amazing prompt, an amazing segment idea. So shout out to you, man. Everyone give Lox some claps in the chat. But without further ado, I think we're ready to talk about this SZA album. Let's shift over here real quick to this. This is like my sorry, that was when I wanted to do a gaming stream, but things weren't working. All right. There we go. Hey guys. Ooh, it's weird seeing just myself. But no, let's get into it. So, SZA's new album, Chesco Loves Winter. Yeah, man. I mean, shit. My birthday is literally in the winter time, so and super close to Christmas, so it's just like a lot of anticipation, a lot of good vibes in winter. But that's just me. How do you guys feel about winter? Hold on, how's Christmas doing? Holiday season. Hope everyone's getting their hot cocoa in. Watching some holiday specials. But yeah, let's get into the SZA. S.O.S. Is an album that I've been looking forward to for a long time. S.O.S. or Control was one of the most definitive albums of the 2010s. I think the Chesco cam. Yeah. The Chesco cam. Control is one of the definitive albums to me. It's like right up there with Blonde, right up there with Freudian, Daniel Caesar. Struggling to think of another one, but let me know in the chat if you guys have any other kind of definitive R&B albums. The one sitting right over there, Awaken My Love. But that's kind of like a more psychedelic vibe, but in my opinion it's still I think we're still seeing a lot of psychedelic stuff, that 70s sound, R&B. So Awaken My Love, another example. But the thing is, SZA then goes ahead and sits out for 5 years, drops a bunch of singles, becomes a superstar almost exclusively from singles and features. Kiss Me More. What else? Good Days. She dropped Good Days, even though that's on this album. Hit Different, which comes up in a pretty big way later on. And yeah, so fast forward, we're super frustrated. And it comes out that she isn't dropping albums because, yeah, like I said, she's being a superstar just exclusively from singles, from features. So it's like, why should I even need to drop an album? And Control is still going off. So it's like, let's just ride it. What is it? Milk the cows till they come home. I don't know. And now we get S.O.S. And it was interesting. I mentioned on the last stream how SZA's reaction to these last couple, or not reactions, but her kind of interviews these last couple weeks have been interesting in terms of she's very nervous, very obvious that she's nervous, which is fine. I appreciate that perspective. I think it's honestly, I said this last week, like it's why I love SZA. She's so real and authentic and all those buzzwords. But she was saying basically like, I just want to drop this album. I don't want to disappear. I'm worried about the reception, coming off of Control, so all that stuff. So yeah, and then we get the album, and in my opinion, I think she nailed it. I think she killed it. I'm not gonna get into that comparison game of, oh, is this better than Control? Does this live up to Control's status and all that stuff? I don't think that matters. I think, it can matter to you, but I think it's just you got to review each album on its own merit, and I think this album is just incredible, man. It's literally like a hard drive of SZA, like what she's been working on the past couple years, and you get that with some, you get that in tenfold. Like you can tell this is her put into music form. How much do I love SZA? I love SZA. I'm not, you know what? I'm not the stan of this, the SZA stan of, what do I call it? The official SZA ambassador of the podcast. That honor belongs to Matt. So I'm not even gonna, I'm gonna give my review, but I'm gonna let Matt speak for himself later on. But yeah, man, I love this album. This album is, for me, everything I wanted to see SZA do. We posted that snippet a couple days ago, our predictions on what the sound of SZA's, what's up Chip fan, hello, what the sound of SZA's next album could be, S.O.S, and we were like, you know what, I think we're gonna get some rapping, we're gonna get some some ballads, some alt stuff, the Phoebe Bridgers record, obviously, the feature is interesting, and sure enough, we get the whole hard drive. We get her every color of the rainbow, I feel like. So yeah, no, let's go through the track list a little bit, discuss it, talk about it like a family. Let me know what y'all thought. And yeah, here, let's see. There it is. Not Echoes of Silence. Let's talk about SZA. Boom. All right. S.O.S. So starting off with a titular track, the titular track, is great, and it was I think a similar beat to Champagne Poetry. I know people were trying to say like, give Drake his credit, like it's his record, they sampled it or whatever. But I think, but Jay Versace, the producer, was like, no, this was just a similar idea. We just had parallel thought. Like again, these songs have been made for a while now. We're just now getting them because TDE Punch wants to be a dickhead about this. But yeah, SOS, man, you got the KD line. I'm pressing dudes like I'm KD. Damn, like, this is exactly how I wanted this thing to open. And also, and to make this, I promise I'm not going to talk about, oh yeah, Chip. We're gonna get to that Weeknd Avatar record in a second. Yeah, we're just talking about the SZA album right now. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like this did what Champagne Poetry was supposed to do for me, but I don't really care about that comparison as much as the next record, Kill Bill. My God, I think that's gonna be maybe the viral hit of this album. I might kill my ex. Not the best idea. No. Such a good record. Love that record. And then you kind of get into like, this is like her dreamy kind of R&B segment. Like if you just wanted more of Control, and not saying that this is just that like lazily, but I'm saying if you just want like the tone of Control, and that vibe, and you just kind of want, you're kind of scared of her going somewhere else with her sound. I think this segment of the album appeased all those fans. But then Gone Girl, oh, with the Don Toliver record's really great. Blind, Snooze is a great one. Kind of taking it back to just like her, getting in her I say this respectfully, her hoe bag, and Gone Girl. Oh, Gone Girl. I want to talk about that record, man. To me, I love that it's in the middle of the album because it was kind of that moment where I was like, oh, I'm in good hands with this album. Like, I'm good. Like, this I don't have to worry about the rest of the album, I trust this album. And Gone Girl, has like that Tiny Desk vibe, the live instrumentals, the keys. You got, SZA going crazy on the vocals. The lyrics are incredible. I think this album, to me, this album describes what SOS is to me. That desolate, the distance, the loneliness, all that stuff. And then you go into Smoking on My X Pack. I mean, that just off the title alone, that was gonna be my most anticipated record from the track list. But to know, hearing that it's like a rap record, I'm like, oh shit, like yeah, this is right. This feels right. That aggressiveness, that I don't give a fuck kind of vibe. Smoking on My X Pack is nice, man. But then as we go on, just because the Phoebe Bridgers record is a great. Ghost in the Machine. She mentioned it was like an alt record, and I got that vibe. Don't really listen to Phoebe Bridgers, to be honest. I've only heard a couple of songs, but I get her vibe, and I might check it out. I like a good sad vibe. As you can tell by the OurThoughts Award category, best sad boy sad girl record. Which by the way, yeah, just random question in the chat. If you guys want to leave your favorite sad late night record, just randomly, like for me personally, Division's new album, Working on My Karma, What's Up is, as to cite my friend Jasmine here, is Chef's Kiss. And then F2, oh shit, F2F. That one is an interesting one, huh? That one's I remember Matt mentioned it was like his it was like SZA's Lemonade Mouth record, her Disney Channel record. Even though it's it's about fucking to forget someone. Damn, man, I've been there. F2F is a great record. I think it slapped me in the face, not gonna lie. The first time I listened to it, I was like, shit, she's getting that bag? Like, okay. And it encapsulates like her whole thing. I remember there was like an interview she had with some magazine where she said like, oh, what was it? I want to really like emphasize like how much of like I'm a girl next door kind of thing. And that to me, F2F and the next record, Nobody Gets Me, kind of both give off that vibe, Nobody Gets Me. Damn, look at those streams right there. I don't know if you can see, but 23,000 compared to like all the other ones. Kill Bill 32. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, Nobody Gets Me is like Matt mentioned is like her Taylor Swift record, and I get that, but I like what SZA does with it is great. So no, just to go through the rest of the album, just because I don't want to bore you guys too much with like a track by track type thing. Then this album, man, it just gave me everything I wanted, I could possibly want from SZA, and if you have the expectation of like, oh, is this gonna be the next Control, then I think you're gonna get disappointed because it's not as, say, cohesive, I guess is the word, just because it's going through all these different genres and all that stuff, but also it's not Control, so for what it is, SOS, great album. I think the sophomore slump, didn't have to worry about that. There was a time I remember where people were worried that whether SZA would be like the next Lauryn Hill, where she just drops one album and dips. But I'm glad that she put her best foot forward. The Travis Scott feature, Open Arms. I saw a lot of people hating on the Open Arms feature, and I'm gonna let Matt speak for himself. But I feel like he nailed it. We mentioned last week the last Love Galore, the last Travis Scott feature with SZA. how it kind of like toes the line between SZA's style of music and then when Travis Scott comes on, it becomes like a full mosh pit. Like there's like concert footage of people freaking out when Travis Scott gets on the stage and going from a Taylor Swift vibe, like swaying, to like moshing and straight like like the dudes came out when Travis Scott came on stage. So I was like, okay, how are they gonna handle this? In Open Arms, there's a Journey song that's called Open Arms, I think. Open Arms, like I love that he just commits to that Disney Channel indie folk vibe, and getting to see Travis Scott in that realm was weird, but it was cool. I don't know. I think people that hate on it maybe like just either don't like Travis Scott, they already had that opinion about Travis Scott beforehand, or maybe they just didn't like him being on that kind of song, which is also valid. But in my opinion, I think I would prefer this over just like a Travis Scott record with SZA on it, or something leaning more towards Travis Scott's world. Like, this is great. This is what I want to see from features, is like I want to see the featured artist in the main artist's world, or vice versa, or some kind of compromise. And then I Hate You, you get the real big singles. I Hate You, I love that song. Good Days is a classic. Forgiveless featuring Old Dirty Bastard was like the perfect ending to me. But yeah, and then so that's the rest of the album. And what's funny, I got a funny little story for you guys. Let me get out of this thing. Funny little story for you guys. Jose, what's good, man? What's good? Oh shoot, sorry. This was for the gaming stream. So, what was I gonna say? Funny little story for you guys. As you guys know, I've mentioned on the stream a couple times, my dad is a Weeknd fan. Like, I converted him to be a Weeknd fan, and I he went from now, because every morning he cleans the house downstairs, and he cleans the house and he's always playing music, just like Sirius XM spin cycle or whatever, like a crazy mix. But over the past couple months, he's been just blasting, like on rotation, on loop, Dawn FM and After Hours. Basically, it was after we went to the After Hours So Dawn tour in Santa Rosa. I got this fucked up on the vlog. I said Santa Clara, but it's actually Santa Rosa. And Santa Rosa, and he just loved the Weeknd's performance. He loved everything about it. And I was like, right. And sure enough, he's blasting Dawn FM, which is funny because and I mentioned this to him, is like, he taught me a lot about like 80s music, and because that's his vibe, is 80s music, 2000 stuff, and he kind of got me on that wave. So now for the Weeknd, my favorite artist, even before After Hours, for him to come in and be really inspired by the 80s sound, that synth, and make like a timeless classic with After Hours, Blinding Lights, all those records, is kind of like full circle moment. So all that to say, my dad is a Weeknd fan. My mom is now officially a SZA stan. And I love how she described it, because so my sister, my mom, they had to go. They were driving around, I think, to drop off one of our dogs to the vet, and they were driving around for errands, and she was playing S.O.S, that whole album. She played, I think just S.O.S, and my mom came back and was like, she's great. Like, she said she reminds her of Rihanna, but like a more dreamy Rihanna. Like, obviously, like, Rihanna has made some, she's made her dreamy records. Like, I think of like Princess in China with Coldplay. I think of Diamonds. But she also delves into like trap, house, a lot of other stuff. Recently, Lift Me Up, which is like more of like a sad vibe. But But SZA, you know, she has that like dreamy bedroom funk pop, not funk, bedroom pop, lo-fi vibe to her, and you know, very fairy tale vibe. That's another thing is that you know, in listening to this album, I forget who mentioned it. I think it was someone on the OurThoughts Twitter, or replied to an OurThoughts tweet and said like the beginning of Gone Girl reminds them of the Titanic, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I didn't notice that, but I see that now. And to me, like when I hear that, I'm like, oh shit, she would be really great on like a Disney movie soundtrack type thing. Like in my head, I think of like the new Little Mermaid that's dropping soon with Halle Bailey. With Halle Bailey, yeah, I think she'd be amazing dropping like a, you know how they always do like an artist version of whatever the hit song is. Like I'm thinking of Let It Go. They had Idina Menzel, and then they have Let It Go Demi Lovato, which is an interesting choice. But I digest. Yeah, I think SZA would do great on a Disney record. But anyways, she loved that, loved SZA, and now I'm like, oh shoot, I really need that Die for You, uh, SZA remix to come out, because that's like, oh shoot, that's y'all kid. Like I'm sure I'm your son, but that's your kid right there. Is the Weekend stan, the SZA stan, and then the Die for You remix. And I think I mentioned, you know, on the stream a couple times, my dad loves Die for You, so you know, like it just works out too perfectly. So I don't know. That would be really cool. Um, Chesco's whole family's a W. His brother likes Big Time Rush. His dad, The Weeknd. His mom was just, hey man, we got some. And also my sister, man, she is super into like indie folk. She loves a lot of other stuff. What was the other one? Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, our family's really very music based. But anyways, yeah. What else do you guys want to talk about with this S.O.S album? I'm uh I'm kind of just it's a great album, like I mentioned before. This is made a fan out of my family. Oh, by the way, one thing I gotta mention for y'all. We got some recognition from SZA herself. Um, so we made a post. It was us predicting the SZA's S.O.S sound, right? And we posted that as an Instagram snippet, and I'm gonna show it on the screen for you guys. But none other than the queen herself, the girl Solana, went ahead and liked our Instagram post. So she's seen she's seen our voice, or seen our voice. She's heard our voices. She's seen us, and she liked what we had to say. I'm gonna pop it up on screen here, as you can see. SZA, blue check mark, liked our reel. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. I was freaking out, man. It's incredible, like, you know, and it just kind of came up like randomly, and it's not like it has a crazy amount of likes. If you look, it's just like 7 likes, you know. So the fact, and to be fair, I did tag her, but the fact that she was just like on social media and all that stuff at the perfect time, it happened pretty soon after I posted it. I'm like, damn, man, SZA, she is so in tune with her fans. We are fans. Let's get that. Don't get it twisted. Even though I don't know what you twist, but yeah. She even liked it before Matt. That is true. Yeah. No. Yeah, I did very much felt seen. Jose, your dad has godly riz and wrote some of the words of die for you on a card. I would lie for you. I would die for you. I would kill for you, my baby. Yeah, that. Oh God, I love that man. I love that man. So yeah, no. Ooh, our thoughts out of context. I love that man. Hey, speaking of another man I love, that's enough for this S.O.S album. I'll leave my final rating when we talk about it with Matt. But speaking of another man I love, let's talk about. It just feels kind of lonely when I'm just doing it by myself. I hope you guys were beatboxing with me. But let's talk about the Weeknd, man. The motherfucking Weeknd. Oh my God. With what is it? Nothing is Lost. Off the Avatar 2 soundtrack. Um, this was a really cool surprise for me in general. Just The Weeknd on another soundtrack. He's never missed. I think of here. What are the other Weeknd? Because I know obviously Earned It off 50 Shades of Grey, but what are some of the other what are some of the other movie soundtracks? Let me know in the chat. I'm sure the chat's about to go crazy when I know Blinding Lights was on what do you call it? Miss Marvel, like the literally like the very first scene of Miss Marvel, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there any? I don't remember. Anyways, yeah, he The Weeknd. I don't know. For me, The Weeknd, like he gives off the vibe that he wants to make music for movies, but the movie has to relate to the music. So, like that's why his albums are as deep and as cinematic as they are. Like because he wants you to envision, the scene of Faith. He wants you to envision the scene that's happening in After Hours of Sacrifice, Dawn FM, Phantom Regret. Some of the songs are just straight up monologues. Um, so The Weeknd on a soundtrack, on a movie soundtrack, just makes too much sense. And then to have that with Avatar 2, which is a movie that has, a recognizable sound palette, Pandora, all that stuff. Um, and now fast forward, you get the song, nothing is lost. And I thought it delivered. I don't know what y'all thought about it, but and let me know in the chat. But this record was really great. It starts off with this epic opening, like it feels like you're kind of rallying the troops, and then it soars into this uplifting, hopeful vibe that feels like it does feel like it's like the scene where he's gonna be flying, and he's gonna be flying over the battlefield, and you really see like, oh, this is the war, all that stuff, like the final battle. So I'm like, this song could very well be in the movie, and if that's so, like, that's pretty cool. Like The Weeknd playing in the background of, what will be a pretty, from what I hear, a pretty big movie, Avatar 2. Yeah, Chip. Hey, if you're mixed, I'd love to hear why. We got time. I'm not here to talk to anybody. I'm talking to y'all, so feel free to talk to me back. Um, yeah, for me, like for what it is, what I was looking for from this record was a Power is Power. That was the other one. Yeah, thank you, Jasmine. Uh, what was I gonna say? What I was looking for from this record was just something that fit the vibe, that was very well produced. That was, one thing I recognized right away is he did exactly what I hoped he would do in terms of, like, if you go back and listen to Kissland, there's a lot of layering of sound effects and little textures and vocals and all that stuff. And that's kind of like the big thing I want. And it makes sense, right? Because Kissland is supposed to lend itself to this idea of a cult, or like some seedy underworld, all that stuff. And then, meanwhile, you go to Avatar and it's about this group of people, the Na'vi, a tribe, all that stuff. So it kind of fits perfectly. You're using these drums, you're using these sound palettes, and I think that, that fit the vibe, and I think it was just so it was perfectly constructed. And yeah, and whether you like the album or not, or like the record or not, it's your prerogative. But I think for a movie soundtrack record, I think this nailed it, man. This nailed it. Abel nailed it again. So yeah, there it is. Let me know what you guys thought about the what is it? Nothing is. I keep forgetting the song just because, like, I don't know. I don't know. Just forget. But yeah, I need a Marvel version of Power is Power. Yeah, him on a and Kitchen Boy. Yeah. You were mentioning that him on the Spider-Verse soundtrack would be sick. That would be him, like, in his Starboy type vibe, like a lot more chaotic, frenetic, and a little more Blinding Lights esque kind of thing. Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah, and speaking of which, that Spider-Verse trailer, just a quick little side note, was incredible. I'm super excited for that. There's that scene in the trailer where they're panning out and you're just seeing like every single Spider-Man, or not every single one, but you're seeing a lot of versions of Spider-Man. And my brother and I were just like clicking through, being like, shoot, that's Spider-Man PS4. Ooh, that's from PlayStation 1. Ooh, that's from the animated series, all that stuff. So that's exciting, man. And then Oscar Isaac as potentially an evil, the villain. Oh my God. Um, Oscar Isaac, sexy ass man. What he feels wrong. Talking to Chip here. It's just that he feels wrong a bit to me, but at the same time, it reminds me of the Dirty Diana cover. I can see that. I respect that. I think if you're putting it in his discography, then I think it's definitely weird. It's kind of not in his discography. It's a soundtrack. So yeah, no, but I totally get that if it feels a little weird, but it's not. The thing is, if it's any kind of lends any perspective, like it is his vision, it's his creation, but it's made to fit in someone else's vision, Avatar. So it's, it should kind of feel a little off-putting, but it's a movie soundtrack, so I appreciate it. And yeah, let's see, is there anything else? We're in the weekly weekend update. You think I'd kind of know more a little bit of what else there is to talk about? Is there anything else for this weekly weekend update that we need to talk about? Jose, The Boys is better than any other Marvel TV show. I would agree, but with one exception, and I hesitate to even mention this because I know it's just going to potentially lead me into a whole nother segment, and I want to give this weekly weekend update what it deserves. I'll come back to your comment in a second. I'll leave you in suspense a little bit. But going off on the weekly weekend update, I saw there was a picture of him and her, The Weeknd and her at the Avatar 2, premiere. They're on the red carpet, or the blue carpet, I guess, and they're just chilling. And I was just like, there was a part of me that saw that picture and I was like, damn, man, like The Weeknd and her. Because if you guys don't know, her comes from the town that I grew up in, my hometown. So I'm like, shoot, I'm seeing my favorite artist ever, and someone who's half Filipino, half who's from my hometown, together on the same stage. Are both some of the biggest artists ever. That's incredible. So, no, really cool moment for me. My boy Abel looking suited and booted, that navy blue, like you can't go wrong. So no, love. I'm talking about her, Gabrielle Wilson, Kitchen Boy. But no, yeah, that's the I think that might be the weekly weekend update. I don't know. What other weekend stuff do you want me to talk about? I'll lend some time. But let's see. Let me check the Weeknd's Twitter real quick. But the Weeknd got some Riz. Come on now, he's got some Riz. Oh yeah, I love that video of him and Kate Trinata dancing, right? In the, like, putting the sunglasses on, all that stuff. That's just so cool, man. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it for the weekly weekend update. If you guys have any cool segments you guys want to do with regarding the weekend, let me know in the chat. Like, if you guys want me to rank something, talk about something, I guess I got some time to kill or whatever talking to you guys. So just let me know. But anyways, I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent here. What was it? Jose, The Boys is better than any Marvel TV show. I would agree, but with one exception, and that is Daredevil. Daredevil, I feel like whenever I mention Daredevil, I gotta put on the glasses. Hold on. My Matt Murdock glasses. Daredevil, I'm just now kind of rewatching that show, and man, it's incredible. Like, you got, first of all, it's gritty and it's realistic. Like, you fucking see a lot of death in that movie or in that show. But then you also get like some of the coolest depictions of Daredevil. And I've been reading a lot of Daredevil comics. Chip, thank you for coming through. Appreciate you, letting your voice be known, then letting us know your thoughts and stuff. Yeah, I hope you come through again. And yeah, and it handles like all the legal drama stuff. It handles like the power, how he like depicts Daredevil's powers. And yeah, that show to me is amazing. You get the Punisher, you get it kind of starts this Netflix Marvel universe, which is its own separate thing, and then ends up getting cut, and now it's getting kind of integrated back into Disney Plus Marvel. So I don't know, man. Like Daredevil to me, I think is better just because The Boys has like the luxury of like being about all of these other superheroes. It's being a satirical take on all these the Superman figure, the Batman figure, all that stuff. Meanwhile, Daredevil is this like lone figure that goes on his arc and all that stuff, and so that's my opinion. Hope you guys will take that. Homelander is incredible though. Anthony Starr taking his role a little bit too seriously in my opinion. He looks a little bit too good in that role, or he's acting a little bit too good. I don't know if it's acting, but I heard that he actually before season 3 came out, he got arrested and like said some shit that was very much like in tune with his character, Homelander. Like you don't know who you're fucking with. I'm blah, blah, blah. Like that's so funny to me. But yeah, no, there you go. Talk about how much Riz Abel got. You don't, man. We all know. I love Butcher. Yeah, Butcher. Can't go wrong with Carl Urban. That's like he's cool. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of all the topics I kind of got. This is we went through the SZA album. We went through the Weeknd record. We did the Weeknd album going in by the seasons. Let's talk about the holidays, I guess. Or what else is going on here? Holidays, man. I'm super excited. Sorry about my dogs coming through. had to raid the chat a little bit, or the stream. But yeah, what are some of your favorite holiday records, Christmas songs, whatever you want to call them? Yeah, White Christmas, despite the title being a little, I know it's about snow or whatever, but that title's a little interesting. It's cool. I like that song a lot. Oh, there you go. That's a cool topic. Henry Cavill, Superman. Well, I'll let you guys leave your Christmas songs in the chat here, but let's talk about Henry Cavill, Superman. Yeah, interesting. In case you guys don't know, James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, Super. What's another movie? I'm trying to remember. There's another one I like. But yeah, he director of a lot of good films. He's taken over as like the Kevin Feige creative head figure of DC, and yeah, they're like starting up a new kind of version of the DC cinematic universe, and I'm like, man, what are the things that are going to get cut that are currently coming out that we're not going to see anymore? Like I think of the Batman, Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson, like that world is so its own thing. What are they gonna do with that? And we suffered our first casualty, which is Henry Cavill as Superman will no longer be as they're developing a new Superman story. James Gunn mentioned that it was gonna be younger Superman, which that kind of had me like, ooh, I don't know, like, are we gonna get Smallville again? But he said it's not an origin story. Thank God. I think we're all sick of origin stories at this point. Like Marvel, I love Marvel, but every movie is either like a big team up or an origin story. And And yeah, no, I think this is gonna be a cool change of pace. But as for like Henry Cavill, it's kind of interesting because I feel like he didn't get a chance to like really be Superman. You know, like Man of Steel was him becoming Superman, going through his origin story. Um, Sorry about that. Going through his origin story, and he isn't Superman like at the end of that movie. Like he's still learning how to be Superman. He kills all that stuff, destroys a whole city. He's learning how to be Superman. Then you go to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and he's just so dreary and drab and kind of whatever. And you know, and to be fair, I didn't really like that movie as a whole, so maybe I'm jaded a little bit. Uh, but that movie didn't do it for me. I didn't feel like I was watching Superman. I think he has only like 10 lines in that whole movie. So with that said, and then you go to Justice League, which is like a whole mess. The Snyder cut, it's just pretty good, not gonna lie, but it's still, I don't know. To me, it's not Superman. Like, and he never really became Superman until, you could argue, until the very end when he's like beating the shit out of the villain, and the Superman theme is playing, the Christopher Reeves one, and that one's cool. That's cool, I guess. Yeah, I guess he did become Superman, but like you didn't really get to see him be him. So I don't know. It's a little disappointing for him, for that to end on that note. For him to just be, and he shows up in Black Adam as at the very end, and that thing is a whole mess, by the way. Considering they just introduced him like, oh, he's back, just to tell him he's gone. Like that shit's shady, shady. But yeah, Henry Cavill took the fattest, juiciest, thickest, girthiest L. God bless you, Kitchen Boy. You need you need Jesus. Damn. Uh, yeah. So Henry Cavill's Superman, I think his tenor as Superman was very very middle of the road to me. There are some good moments, some amazing moments. I think of him learning to fly for the first time, him getting the black suit in Justice League, and flying to get to the rescue, all that stuff. But then you get some really low moments, in my opinion. You get, him killing, the destruction, all that stuff. So no, I think Henry Cavill is Superman, mid. But that's not to say him as Superman is mid. Like, just the movies he was in, like him. Honestly, I could definitely see a world where Henry Cavill is the best Superman we'd ever gotten. But in my opinion, it's still Christopher Reeves. Even though Superman 3 and 4 weren't good at all. 1 and 2 are still, to me, like the definitive, like what superhero movies are supposed to be. Those movies 1 and 2 are very up there, like being the definitive one. So yeah, no. But anyways, yeah, thank you for bringing up that topic. Let's talk about Christmas records. So I saw a couple people mention Last Christmas, Kitchen Boy and Jose. Last Christmas I gave you my heart. Classic, yeah. The Christmas song. Yeah. That's a good one. Let me go through my Christmas playlist though. Jeff Burnett has a great Christmas. Gotta shout out my boy, friend of the show, Jeff Burnett. Dropped a really cool kind of Christmas EP type vibe. So go check that out. It's called. If you guys are looking to get in the Christmas mood a little bit, it is called Christmas or Jeff Burnett. Duh. So yeah, there you go. But as for some other great Christmas songs, let's go through some top tier ones. Some really good vibes. I can't believe it's Christmas, y'all. Like 2022 kind of went by like that. So I'm just really happy that we're here, man. We're finally here. Mistletoe, Justin Bieber. Say what you want about the Biebs, but made a whole new original Christmas song. I think we need more original Christmas songs. Like, the covers are great, but Baby It's Cold Outside. Yeah, I mean, y'all remember finding out what Baby It's Cold Outside was, you know? Damn. We're still goodbying. Sleigh Ride, All I Want for Christmas Is You is a classic. Yeah. No, Ariana Grande, you know, the Mariah Carey, what do you call it? The Mariah Carey, like the delineation, whatever, the family tree of Ariana Grande and Mariah Carey. You know, she obviously does her own version of All I Want for Christmas Is You, Santa Tell Me. Oh. If we're talking about like sad Christmas songs, you can't go wrong with Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. That song to me is, specifically, if you guys want to check out, is this kind of a what's in our rotation segment? I think it is. Okay, what's in our rotation holiday edition? I was just trying to think. Do we have a transition for that? No, we don't. What's in our rotation holiday edition? Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by 8mm. I only know of this version because it was in the Flash CW show. I used to watch. I only watched like the first 2 seasons. Tried watching the third one, then it got hella confusing, and I was like, I'm off. So, but this version of the song is very melancholic. It feels like you're just kind of sitting alone in bed, you know, watching the snow fall down. Like, I don't know, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. 8mm, great one. I can't be Filipino and not mention Pasko na Naman is the classic Filipino Christmas song. So I gotta shout that out. Shout out to my Pinoy brothers out there. A new one. Okay, a new one that I don't know. You know, you guys, you know, may have heard is Christmas at S.O.S by Sway Lee of Ray Shremmerd. My God, Ray Shremmerd. I remember people were saying Ray Shremmerd was gonna be like the next Outkast, and I was like, oh shit. I mean, Outkast, you know, but you know, they split. They went their separate ways. But Christmas at S.O.S, I think, gives off a very, again, my personal favorite. The Christmas music that speaks to me are the melancholic ones, the ones that have a hint of sadness to it. Just because I'm always sad. Which is why, Elvis Presley's Blue Christmas is another song I enjoy listening to every, you know, whenever it comes on, every Christmas, every holiday season. PJ Morton has a great holiday album. And obviously, can't not mention my boy Abel, Christmas Blues. Again, if we're talking about somewhat sad Christmas records, that one is another, like, am I going to make it through this Christmas? Like, I'm just so sad type vibe. Like, man, that song is I'm really happy that he put out a little Christmas song. And I'd love another one. Abel, if you're watching, give us another Christmas album, a Christmas song. Christmas album. Speaking of Christmas albums, we need a Silk Sonic Christmas album. Like, imagine that. I know Anderson .Paak was on like crying on Instagram Live, like, yo, we need the Christmas album. We need the Christmas album. And I agree, man. Anderson .Paak, get us that Christmas album. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw. If you go check out DJ Pee Wee, which is Anderson .Paak's like alter ego when he spins vinyls, when he's his DJ kind of alter ego, he posted like a poster of promoting this event in Las Vegas. It's like a salsa night type thing for New Year's Eve, and it's promoting him and Anderson and Bruno Mars are going to be there, but they did not say they will be there as Silk Sonic. They just said Bruno Mars will be hosting, DJ Pee Wee will be spinning vinyls, and I was like, damn, man, like Silk Sonic is really done. A farewell to the Silk Sonic era for now. You don't know, you never know. And let's be honest, like, there's no way they're not going to drop another album, but also it's like, in case it is the last Silk Sonic kind of album, like, damn. But anyways, last couple, what's in our rotation? I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus is a classic. Yeah. Ariana Grande December. That's another one. Yeah, but so if we're gonna go away a little bit away from some holiday songs, let's talk about just albums in general that we've been listening to. Let me check out. Oh shit! How did I not mention this album? But I will now. Little Sims and No Thank You. Little Sims is a UK rapper. She put out an album. Sometimes I'm introverted, and I love that album. It's so cinematic. There are moments of that album that feel like a Rocky montage. Like you're like fighting your demons, running through mountains, running around canyons, all that stuff. And then she comes out with this album, No Thank You, and it captures all that. The cinematic Rocky vibes. There's some songs where the strings come in, and you're like, oh my god, I feel like running through a wall. But my first time was listening to this album was on the treadmill. So I'm out here busting my ass, and I'm like, yo, this album is kind of perfect for this. But then there's a record on here, Who Even Cares, where she kind of gets into like a bit of a psychedelic Tame Impala alt vibe, and it's kind of different from what I've personally heard Lil Sims to be up to this point, but it's so groovy, it's so funky, it's so good, so memorable. So I love that record. I love this album. Definitely gonna check that out. Are you able to turn my mic up a bit? I kind of wish you told me that earlier. All right, turned it up. How's that? Yeah? Damn, I wish I did that earlier. Oh well. No thank you, Lil Sims. Let me know in the chat if the mic is good. But yeah, No Thank You, Lil Sims is a great album. S.O.S, of course, man, that album kind of fucked up our whole OurThoughts awards setup. Now we gotta account for that. And then obviously you got Heroes and Villains. Metro Boomin is still on my rotation. That album, just godly. But yeah, no, that's kind of been it. I've been listening to I've just been listening to my playlists, some of my winter vibes playlists. Yeah, no, that's kind of it for me. Hope you guys are doing well. I think that'll do it for us here. It's clocking in a little shorter than usual, but it's only one of me, so slightly less thoughts, just my thoughts today. But yeah, Jose, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you everyone for coming through. Sorry to bore you. I'm Chesco from the OurThoughts podcast, and guys, real quick, let's go ahead and wrap up this year. This is the last stream of potentially the last OurThoughts live for this year. What a year it's been. What a year for music. What a year for this podcast, man. We kind of went through like some crazy milestones, and also what I'm really proud of with this podcast is that we stuck with it. We were relatively consistent, even though we missed a couple weeks here and there, all that stuff. But it's just kind of like the fact that it's just me and Matt doing this shit. Like literally it's us two. Like we're the only two people doing this. Like we have no editors. We have no other people like producers or anything. It's just us. I'm super proud of this year. I'm super proud to be friends with you guys through here. Like it's just kind of crazy to think about. So no, incredible year for the podcast. There are some statistics that I think Matt posted a couple days ago, which is just incredible. Thank you to everyone who's new here, who we met this past year. Thank you to everyone who we met in past years for sticking with us, with our annoying ass selves. Yeah, man, I can't wait for what 2023 has to offer for us. 2022, again, great year of music. We had the big names returning. Return of the King Kendrick. We got The Weeknd starting the year off right. We got Beyonce. We got, I don't even know who else. We got everyone except Frank. We had SZA, obviously. Probably. Yes, and another thing is about this pod is yeah, we gained some new OurThoughts fam members. In Kitchen Boy as a mod. I forget if a Miracle became a mod this past year, but also her, and also shout out to our other one of our second mod, one of our the homies, Curry, ranting and raving. You I'm talking about you, Kitchen Boy, you. Yeah, you. And Miracle and Curry, you guys have been incredible for us all years, and for showing up and constantly, saying what's up and interacting with us, and it's just made us, I don't know, feel like we really do have some OurThoughts fam out there. So with that said, man, appreciate you guys. I think Steve Lacy, yeah, that's another album that definitely made some waves this year. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us, for me, I guess. Thank you for everyone for coming through, listening to some of my thoughts. Is there anything I want to mention to you guys real quick? Nah, man. Happy holidays. Hope you and your people are doing great. You and yours have a happy holidays. And thank you for an amazing 2022. I hate wrapping up because I could go on forever and ever. But yeah, guys, that's been it. Thank you all for coming through. See y'all. Bye. Hold on. Bye.